Mr. Mayor, what do you consider your biggest success during your tenure in office?
I have to say that it's making Pittsfield a livable city again. It's making Pittsfield the type of city that it is a very good place for people to work and to play and to live in.
Downtown is the thing you're most proud of.
Well, again, I think, and I would just say, as a building block, I think that is the cornerstone to the, you know, and that is an economic, the major economic development building block, and that I'm very, very proud of. Pittsfield to be a destination point for culture and entertainment certainly is something else that I think ties to creating that first building block that will ultimately allow for us to recruit entrepreneurial companies into Pittsfield. Now, schools is really, when we talk about something, when we talk about a point of pride, what we have done is we have not only stabilized, but we have advanced the quality of education in the city of Pittsfield. You know, we have well over 50 additional instructional people in our school systems today than when I took office. I think that number actually is closer to 70. But the successes that we have had in the Pittsfield school system, I believe, are a direct result of making sure that we looked at dropouts and we addressed them, and we continuously look at different ways to educate, and that's and find success. And that's reflected in the improved MCAS scores that we keep seeing.
How about the biggest disappointment during your tenure?
Boy. You know, I said before, the biggest disappointment was the fact that you know, there's still an achievement gap in the city of Pittsfield, and I guess I would still stick with that theme. And I'd expand it to say my biggest disappointment personally is we did not recruit into the city a more diverse employee base that better reflects what the population of Pittsfield is. And if I were to do it over again, and we haven't done it in the schools either, and if I were to do it over again, and we're coming for one final term, the first thing I would do is go to the city council to hire a diversity recruiter.
Do you think the city of Pittsfield will be better off 2 years from now than it is right now?
I don't know. For that to happen, certainly I think we're going to need to see a continued strengthening in state revenues, and hopefully see increases in state aid. For that to happen, I think we're going to, it would be wise to continue to focus on the importance of private-public partnerships that the city has benefited from over the last 8 years. And for that to happen, I think that it's going to be very important that the city leaders, continue to encourage arts and culture, both from a performance and professional perspective, as well as the kind of volunteerism and grassroots energy that we have seen provided within the community over the last bunch of years. And finally, I think it's going to be important for us to continue to show Boston like we have, that we can take tools from their toolbox that are legislated, get them passed by our city council, and see them implemented in a very successful way, whether it was streamlining permitting, or whether it was affordable housing, or whether it was reinventing the west side and the Morningside neighborhoods through the demolition of some housing and grant funding that we received in order to put up more infield housing.
Imagine you probably had no bigger critic than Ellen.
Our
spouses usually are.
And they sure are. And boy, I had no better partner than Ellen too.
Well, I was going to ask you, you know, how important was Ellen to you in forming your job as mayor, and how did that change, if at all, after she passed away 2 years ago?
Well, you know, Ellen had some passions. Drug abuse was a passion of Ellen's. Homelessness was a passion of Ellen's. She was involved in the formation of the Pittsfield Prevention Partnership with Phyllis and Ruth Blodgett and I'm going to forget, so I better not say because there's another woman involved. And she was involved with the Red Cross in their move to exit from the homeless business and to have that turned over to BCAC. She was involved in so many elements of the community that I had somebody coming home all the time saying, you're not paying enough attention here, and we really have to pay more attention here. Without her, I had no one to share our successes and to share our disappointments with, and certainly that made these last 2 years much less fun.
Mayor-elect Bianchi, I think he has the right temperament for the job.
I think that you have to be adaptable to do the job. It certainly helps if you've had a lot of executive experience, and I'm sure that Mayor Bianchi will find the learning curve to be rather steep, like I did, recognizing the fact that you're now running a city where you have to balance transparency, balance how you approach an issue with the result you know is required of an issue, and that's, I guess, how I'll answer that question.
One of the suggestions has been, if there is going to be a city charter review commission, is to look at the length of the term of the mayor, that maybe it should be more 4 rather than 2, to give he or she more opportunity, more time to, after your first term, before you know it, you turn around, you're campaigning again, and then, you know, like you said, 6 years. So is a 4-year mayor something that's more realistic for these times as compared to, you know, over the last 70, 80 years?
Springfield took that vote 2 year ago.
In fact,
they voted it, and their first 4-year mayoral term was this year. I believe that a 4-year mayoral term would provide much more stability in terms of setting and achieving goals than this present 2-year time horizon. I also believe that there should be term limits, and I really do believe that after 2 terms, the mayor should really be told to hang them up. I actually think that the city council should be reduced in size from 11 to 7, and I think we should have 3 at-large city councilors and 4 ward city councilors, and that would provide every person in the city the opportunity to vote for the majority, a majority of councilors. And I think that also would provide maybe some more stability to the process that we have now. And I think there should be term limits on city councilors.
Now, do you see the term limits for mayor based on a 4-year term?
4-year
Four-year
term.
term, okay.
So 2 4-year terms.
2
would be-
4-year
would-
terms.
You know, having spent time in office, do you think Pittsfield's best served by a mayor form of government in the long run? Or, I mean, to some extent, it's unusual that a place like the size of Pittsfield has a mayoral form of government. There are certainly towns that operate with a town manager or...
I really do believe in a mayoral form of government. And I do because on a statewide basis, mayors in Boston are truly given the benefit of the doubt, and they're more visible. A town manager doesn't set the vision for the community. And at the end of the day, the job of mayor is to set the vision for the community. Plain and simple. Long term, I'm very interested in some form of public engagement. Not on the elective side, because I've done that, but somewhere where my talents can be used to help cities like Pittsfield. I'd like to try to find this.
Is your home in Pittsfield?
Yes, absolutely. That's, I'm a Pittsfield boy. Ellen and I were born here, and we were bred here, and we were educated through high school here, and we're going to be here.
Do you think it's going to be tough watching someone else be mayor while you're, I mean,
You know,
I mean, it's like, how hard is it going to be to try to resist? Oh, why is he doing it that way?
No,
Why is the council making that vote?
I think I've learned enough in my professional career in business to note that once you're gone, you're really gone. And as someone else takes over, they take over on their terms and do what, and as an individual, you have no right to.
Mm-hmm.
You have no right to try to interfere.
So in terms of your living situation, you see yourself spending 6 months here, 6 months in Florida?
Probably, I would think, and that's something that I really am giving serious consideration to. The one issue that will always be important to me is the issue of education. We can't go backwards. We can never allow to happen what happened in the few years preceding this administration. We have to tough it out, belly up to the bar, and keep investing in our kids. We have to make sure that we have the revenue, the money in the bank left to the next administration, so that education and the school budget can be responsibly funded, and that we don't leave them in a position where things fall backwards. And as a result of that, it becomes easy for some to think that no activity has occurred. As a result of the successes that we've had downtown, it becomes easy to be criticized for the fact that the only growth in the community has been downtown. Job creation has been a disappointment, because you'd love to see things happen faster and go better.
But it's also been during
But this
one
is,
of the toughest
this has been
economic
during an incredibly difficult time, especially for us in recruiting companies. Especially for us who, you know, who see most of our job growth, either through companies adding 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or a new little company starting up. That's really where the jobs growths have come from. And then we do look at the retail sector and we see general dynamics. But Patrica built backward integrated and built a facility here in Pittsfield over the last few years, like you mentioned, LTI Smart Glass. We've been fortunate.